Did not see you coming, my dears. In today's show of English-speaking countries, we are going to talk about Australia and the native inhabitants of Australia. The Australian native inhabitants are also called Aborigines. And Aborigines contains a large number of different groups, and all different groups have different languages. And you think that there were more than 200 different languages in Australia at the time of the native inhabitants. From the beginning, the Aborigines probably came from Southeast Asia for over 50,000 years ago. That's a long time. When the Europeans came to Australia, they thought that the Aborigines was a hopeless and wild people.
The Aboriginal religion was a complicated and sophisticated belief. It involved systems over their relatives, the rest of the world, how the world was created, the nature, and humans' relations to it. The Aborigines did a lot of ceremonies and rituals to practice their religion. The Aborigines believed that the world was created in a prehistoric time that the Aborigines called the dream time. In this dream time, different mysterious creature was born from the earth, and this is the creatures that created everything. After the whole world was created, the creatures sank back into the earth, and the places where the creatures did that are holy for the Aborigines. When the prehistoric creatures created plants, animals, and humans, the creature's life force became a part of every plant, animal, and human. For example, one creature may be having given its life force to a tree and a human. Then this special human has the responsibility for the trees, and that new trees will grow when the human has consumed too many trees. In this way, the Aborigines show us that they knew that the world resources could not last forever, and that they had to take care of the earth. This complicated system was only open for the Aboriginal men. White people and Aboriginal women had no right to join many of the ceremonies. But the Aboriginal women often knew at least a bit of the religion and had their own rituals. Neither all of the men knew everything about the religion. The top leaders when it came to the religion was in fact the eldest one in the Aborigines tribe. And it was the eldest one's job to pass by the knowledge to the younger men when the younger men had done their initiation rites. The initiation rites, for example, included circumcision that can be seen in many other religions. It was not just the religion that divided men and women. The work in the Aboriginal tribe was also dispensed between men and women. It was the woman's job to find and collect food and the men's job to hunt. The Aborigines did not own a lot of things, but they did use some tools when they were collecting food or when they were hunting. The woman used a digging stick and a basket to collect nuts, plants, fruits, insects, and small animals. For hunting and fishing, the men used spears, boomerangs, and sticks. When the white man came to Australia, the Aboriginal life changed forever. It was at the 17th century that Australia became known for the rest of the world. There was a small number of people who came to the land at that century, but the most important of them all was James Cook, and he did not come to Australia until the year 1770. Then he set his foot at Botany Bay in the current Sydney. He made the area British and called it New South Wales, without any respect for the Aborigines that already lived there. James Cook only saw the land's huge potential for agriculture, and Big Britain needed primary products like flax, hemp, and timber to build boats. Big Britain also needed an area for the convicts, and a place they could use to guard the waterways to India and China. Because of all this, and of course because of Big Britain's greed after power, Australia became a colony to Big Britain. The colonists were often British convicts and their families that had to work for a small salary at big farms. But in the 1840s, Big Britain stopped sending convicts to Australia, and other Brits started immigrate to the large colony. The colonists and the Aborigines did not get along very good, The Aborigines tried to live like they had done before, but when they collected the food and hunted down the animals, the Brits saw it as stealing from Big Britain. It often raised up battles between colonists and Aborigines, just like it did between inhabitants in America and the Americas colonists. The Aborigines did not own the same rights as the colonists, and the number of Australian inhabitants sank. Today is Australia mostly populated by the relatives to the British colonists. Of course, there also live some Aborigines, but they still do not have the same rights as other inhabitants in Australia, and poverty and alcoholism is two common problems for the Aborigines. But there is hope. Today the government in Australia work for better conditions for the Aborigines, and maybe people starting to realize that the Aboriginal culture can learn us to take care of the nature, our fellow humans, and our home, planet Earth.
And that's all for today's show. I hope you learned a lot about Australian history and enjoyed this show very much. At least I did. Good night, my dears. Finally, this shit is over. And where the bloody hell is my whiskey? Oh, don't say I dropped it again. And this shit, I don't even understand it. Oh, here it is. Oh, look. Oh, yeah, who cares? Oh, is that thing still on? Bloody shit, my career is over.